Hello, everybody. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Hello. I am. This is a surprise live because you know how I love those now these days. I don't like commitment, so I'd rather just say hello randomly. Hello, hello, hello. Hi, Kobe. Hello, everybody. Hi. Um, Happy Sunday. Yes. So I thought let me go live because it's been a while. Hello, hello, boo boo. It's been a while. Hi, Simi. Hello, everybody. Hello. So it's been a while that I've done this, and I thought let me pop in today and say hello. How are you doing? And I will have time for questions. So if you have a question, just pop it in the question box. I think you know the drill by now. But yeah, happy Sunday. Cheers. Yes, it is a random. I'm no longer announcing these lives. And I know, guys, I get a lot of requests to please do those Sunday sessions again. I'm like, I can't commit to those anymore because they take quite a lot out of me. So I'm still considering myself a person who's on a break. So I'm glad to hear they had such a profound impact on so many people. They are in all the sessions I did are on our Vastly Sage YouTube channel. So I think there's more than enough to catch up on. So yeah, no, Mela, it's not long time, no nothing. I've been doing some stuff. It's just that you give a foot and people want the whole leg plus the body. So hello, Rafa. My friend Rafa is in Paris. Hope to see you soon, Rafa. Hello. Hi, Lexi. Hello, everybody. Hello, my friend. Yeah, so I am chilling over here, and Rafa will know this. This is Verve, of course. I mean, like, I don't even have to explain this. Cheers. So I thought I'd pop in today because it's been a while, and I'm quite happy to spend some time chatting about a couple of things. It's I've actually been sitting here today and thinking about, because I don't just want to go live for the sake of going live. I must have something to say, right? In fact, I don't do anything for the sake of doing it. I have to have something to say, and believe it or not, I don't always have something to say. Sometimes I really just have nothing to say, so I will not say anything. And I am deeply grateful. Hello, Alice. My friend Alice from Tanzania, guys, is here. So yeah, I can share some bubbles, no problem. Here you go. And a lot of you have asked me about Verve and stock issues in South Africa, particularly. I think that issue has now been resolved. So fire away, go to the stores and buy, order online, do what you need to. But you must be over 18, preferably over 21. But I don't know how you're raised. Also don't know how your children are raised. So yeah, I was thinking today that I think there's this misconception generally that we should be constantly be working hard. And I think sometimes these so-called motivational speakers do tend to give an unintended message, or some of them don't say what is what should be. And I actually also think that some don't even know what it should be. So none of us have the answer. So even as I'm saying all this, it's just completely my opinion. I could be dead wrong, but here's what I've come to realize in life. We're constantly chasing so much because we are told we have to be productive, we have to be chasing something, we have to be fighting for something. But I am at a life stage now, and it's possible that I may have said that back in the day, or I may have believed it. I don't know if I've said it, but late, I may have believed it at some point because that's what you have to do, right? But I'm now more about resting and downtime than I am about constantly running after stuff. And call it mid-age. But hey, listen, I'm going to tell you about this mid-age business. A lot is happening. A lot is unraveling, and I'm sitting here thinking, hey man, are we here? And it's exciting, but very strange, sometimes absolutely bizarre. But yeah, so I'm not always slaying dragons. Let me just, in case somebody's sitting there thinking, oh my gosh, Amanda's work ethic, I can't match up to it, I need to be fighting to get to Amanda's work. Please don't, because it wouldn't be a true reflection of where I'm at. There was a time, yes, when I had to work hard. Remember, there's a time for building, and there's then a time for slowing down and enjoying what you've built, whilst you're still building more. Because I mean, I don't know, I'm not yet at a phase in my life where I say I've built, now I'm good. No. But I think this misconception that we constantly have to be pushing ourselves hard and working and working and working endlessly is a bit of a misnomer. Hey man, my English is coming. I don't know if that word is used right in this sentence, but I'm taking it. So I think that we must rest. I'm at an age in my life, or a life stage, where I am fighting every single day for my average 9 hours of sleep. Like, I will be watching, so I started binging on this thing called Yellowstone. And I was just like, I'm not a binge type person. Like, I only watch sports. So, but every now and then there's something that I am like, I'm interested in watching. So, and I'm like, okay, I'll do that. So I've been watching this thing called Yellowstone, and they dump like 3 episodes on I think it's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or Thursday, Friday, Saturday, something like that. Three episode a day. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Whew. And then I sit there, and then it's midnight, and I feel so bad because I've lost so many hours of sleep. So I think we must prioritize rest, and we must prioritize just pulling back. And I'm an energy person, so I know when my energy needs to pull back and replenish. And we don't have to keep, it doesn't have to be a dragon slaying day every day, guys. That's exhausting. So in case you had some misconception about how I go about my business, I think I'm far more productive than I am a person that spends long hours working. And sometimes I used to be so like, work hard. I use the words work hard, be the hardest working one in the room. But yeah, there's a time for that. And then there's a time for, it's okay now, I've done that. I no longer have anything to prove. And you've earned that. You get to a point where you've earned that right to just chill. And I do chill. and sometimes I'm actually just busy doing nothing, just chilling. And that's okay, I think people feel guilty when they say no to others, even though they're like just sitting at home. No, you are a very important part of the agenda of the day. And if the agenda of the day does not involve you getting some rest, you will break down the road, because these engines, they need to be serviced. They need to be serviced. And you get this lesson of how much you've been servicing and how well the returns are coming when you are in your mid-age. When you start feeling your body doing things that you've never seen before. And guys, there is absolute arrogance in youth, I am telling you. It's beautiful. And There is absolute humility in aging. I was on the phone with my friend Lillian the other day, because Lillian is like, a couple of years older than me. So I phoned her and I said, honey, listen here. What the hell is going on at this age? Why? Why did you tell me these are some of the things that happen when you get here? Oh, my friend Lillian just killed herself. It's just like, Amanda, welcome. The aim is, hey babe, the aim is we don't have to keep forcing our way through everything every day. There's just some days when you must pull back and say, listen, I need a day off and I need a day to myself. Guys, even the people who are working corporate who say, Amanda, it's easy for you to say that because you run your own businesses, so you have your own flexibility. Guys, there's a reason why you have leave on the job. There's a reason why you have leave. But you people think leave is just something to stack up and cash out when you leave the company. No, it's not. It's for you to replenish, and it's your days. I have my team, they ask me to take leave. I'm like, why are you asking me to take leave? It's your leave. You have 25 days a year that just belongs to you to do whatever you want with. So if you need leave, take leave. I will never tell anybody it's inconvenient for you to take leave now, because that's not right. If somebody says I need leave, they need leave, whatever they need it for, and I think you should use it. You should. In fact, in my company we have a policy: if you have not taken all your leave by I think it's an 18-month period, you forfeit it, so we take it back because clearly you don't need it. so literally when my team asks me, Amanda, can I take leave? I'm like, what do you mean, can you take leave? You want leave, apply on the system, I'll approve it. It's courtesy to just let me know that, listen, Amanda, I'm going to be on leave on this day, so that I don't try to find you and I don't find you. So I think we have to prioritize rest, is my point. And I am now at a point where every time I'm required somewhere or have to do something, I always have to weigh it up against what am I giving up. I've always been like that, but I'm even now more protective of my energy and my rest time. And because I'm the person that gives so much to others, I need more rest than the average human does. So yes, I do sleep an average of 9 hours a night. True story. Some nights I sleep for 10 hours, 11 hours. Yeah, it's true. My sides often hurt because I sleep so much. But I am better off sleeping, getting my rest, so that I'm more productive in the hours that I'm working. Here's what happens, and that's why I said this is the beauty and the arrogance of youth, is that, I mean, I can't believe I'm saying this. In those times, those years, many, many years ago, we could go clubbing Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You wake up, you get home at 5 o'clock in the morning on a Monday, and at 8 o'clock you are at work. I can tell you though that I don't think we were at our most productive. However, we could actually push ourselves through the day and like drag ourselves through the day, hungover and all. Those parents who are claiming they never did that, they're lying to you. They did something. We all did something reckless in our youth. Some extreme, others moderate, others just a little. Okay, so, but youth is youth, and that's the beauty of it, is that you get to push yourself to the edge, and to you don't think you have any limits. And whilst I still don't think I have any limits, I'm far more considered in terms of how I spend my energy and who I give my energy to, because their energy in turn rubs off on me. And this concept of rest is something that actually is quite paramount now. So I don't work long hours. In fact, last week I worked a a 4 day week, 4 day week, seeing people, seeing clients, doing meetings. By the time I got to Friday, I was practically crawling. And I realized it's because I worked on the Monday, because I don't work on Mondays. So I haven't worked on Mondays for 9 years. Since I left corporate, one of the things I gifted myself, because I felt so horrendous putting myself through what I put myself through when I was in corporate, I felt I deserved a day that was dedicated to me, to do nothing and just rest. Because think about it, I have a family, so the weekends are all about the family. The weekdays are all about the family and school and work and whatever else I am involved with. So there has to be a space for me to just be with myself and sit quietly. Sometimes it's not even, I don't go to a spa or I just sit at home and do nothing, like nothing. I would sometimes read something, not necessarily a book. I'll read an article. I'll read something that whatever I need to do in that moment, I will do it. And I think the appreciation of getting where I am is that I don't have to be busy. In fact, the less busy I am, the happier I am. When I look at my diary and I see there are no meetings for the week, I'm at my happiest. Like, I do cartwheels. So I think we have to constantly be prioritizing rest, because you're far more productive when you have been restful, when you have had enough rest, when you've created space for yourself to just reflect and think about the things you need to think about and the things you need to work on. You will not be able to achieve that if you're constantly on the go. Now, again, I'm saying this, it's possible that it's a life stage thing, but I do think that these are things that you need to be learning even as you are building up your career, even as you're building up your life, because what is the point of having money in abundance and having this great materialistic success and then you have absolutely nothing left to enjoy it? So health and rest comes hand in hand, because until you have experienced, burnout, or you've been on the verge of burnout, I can tell you that your body has already been telling you things along the way, but you don't listen. Eventually, your body just starts screaming at you. And when it screams, it does not scream softly. It screams loud, and it's a bang. And some people are fortunate enough to be able to come back from that. Others are not. Others have long-term effects. So I mean, March was a very tough month for me, for us in the family. We lost a family member, my husband's sister. So I've had to be there for my 85-year-old mom-in-law, for my husband, for my kids, because they lost their aunt, for the rest of the family, whilst also grieving myself. And all of my other responsibilities did not take a back seat. So I felt that I got depleted. But also I had to take the time to mourn the loss, and just be in the moment. So there's so many things that we all have to deal with, that we go through. Personal struggles, things that are not necessarily, for public consumption, but only when you're reaching your breaking point. And the issue is not that you don't know you are reaching your breaking point. The issue is that people feel like they are reaching their breaking point, but they continue to push themselves just that little more because they think that's what they have to do. I'm just saying you will not be productive if you do that. So it is about prioritizing those moments where you can just have some downtime and just focus. And also remember, we have all these roles that we play in our lives that are roles that we take seriously. I take my role as a mom, a wife, an aunt, a sister. I take those roles very seriously. Okay, sister to those I care about. Because there are people that I don't care about. There are those who have proven themselves not worthy of my love as a sister. Therefore, I'm not counting those. I'm counting the ones that I have chosen that I care for. And I take all my roles very seriously. So sometimes you'll find that, whilst I like to give to the public and, and help where I can, sometimes you find that I'm pulling back and I'm not available because I need to replenish and I need to focus on my other roles. And I can assure you, it doesn't mean I'm not living my life to the fullest. I live 99.99% of my life off a public platform. Pretty much most of us do, right? All of us do, in fact. Therefore, I'm blessed that I'm not doing what I do for. I'm blessed that I'm not doing what I do I don't, being online for me is not about putting food on my table. So thank God for that, because my livelihood doesn't come from this. I just do this because it's purpose work. It's fun every now and then. And, but I've got real life happening outside of it too, and because it's not my livelihood, I sometimes have to focus on my business, I mean, Jesus, I've been tap dancing around cash flow. In fact, I've called myself Chief Cash Flow Manager. This last couple of months has been about cash flow management. And it's not just cash flow management in the business, it's cash flow management in the household, because we have a building project and we have kids going on school trips. We've got, there's a lot that is demanding all of our resources. So sometimes it's okay to actually just focus on that. And not sometimes, all of the time. You need to be realizing where do your priorities lie. Because I honestly, guys, whether you like what I've posted or you don't like it, it's nice that we can engage, but you have a life, I have a life. So there are times when we have to focus on that. And I can assure you that there are times when I'm not even thinking about the fact that I need to be visible or be online. So, and yeah, sometimes I think we confuse matters, because social media has taken over so much of our lives, and we think that for us to be successful, we have to be constantly available and engaging. And that's not necessarily true for me, but I understand it for those people whose job it is to do that every day, and to, people who rely on it, to put food on their table. So what I'm saying to you is, whether you like what I post or not, I don't care. Whether you follow me or you don't follow me, I don't care. I'm too old to care. No, guys, it's true, but not like that. You get what I mean. It's there are things that are far more important. And again, if there's value in you following what I do or what I say, and then that's fine. But hi, guys, let's not play games. We're old. So about the mid-age thing, hey man. I think some of you remember me saying 2 years ago, I had this encounter with my gynae who told me, Amanda, you're 43, you'll soon be perimenopausal. And I was like, what do you, like, it was like she's not talking to me. So one of those things that are like happening now is like this thing where I feel like I'm an oven most of the time. And in a way, I'm still thankful that actually, I don't care if I was dripping in sweat or not, but there's just these things that are starting to happen to me that I'm like, okay, that's new. I don't know that. And then I go check, what does this mean exactly? Aging is more humbling when you don't even feel like you are that age. So I don't feel 45. There is nothing in my life that says I'm 45. Like, I wish I could tell you, but then again, to be honest, my 85-year-old mom-in-law tells me the same thing. So, yeah. When other people are cold, I'm finding the temperature quite pleasant. I used to laugh at my friends when they would drip sweat in the middle of winter. And I'm like, what's going on with you? Now I'm like, oh, I know. They say it's 18 degrees. I'm like, oh, I like that. Actually, it's quite pleasant. While people are reaching out for the blanket, me, I'm like, and then I've had the strangest lower back pain. At first, I thought it's because I flew economy 3 times to Cape Town. Guys, 3 times is 2, 4, 6, 6 hours of being on an economy seat. Okay, not. Okay, not like, what's the English? Not 6 hours straight, but it was it happened. I had to fly to, because my sister-in-law that passed away lived in Cape Town, so I had to be in Cape Town a couple of times. But then I also had some commitments in Cape Town, and also I was attending MAPS did a birthday thing. So, and I found myself. So I thought this lower back had something to do with it, but it is strange. So apparently your joints start to do weird things. And then I had these like headaches that were just so weird, because I'm not a headache type person. And even if I've had champagne, because the reason I drink Verve is because I don't get, weird things. I drink Verve and it's like I drank nothing. That's why me and my Verve are friends. But I didn't have had these like headaches that run from here down to here. And I'm like, what is that exactly? Consecutively. Thank you, Abigail. Oh, no, actually, I think I meant straight. But, no, my knees are fine. I can still get down, so all is good. But there are things, guys, that I'm just like, no, no, no. And why it's so brutal, I find it funny, okay? But when I speak to my friends, they're like, oh, you know what? We're so like, this Asian, I think it's the funniest thing ever, because it is so humbling. When you think you are hip and happening, it's worse for me, because I don't even feel like I'm 45. And then there's these things that are happening, and I'm like, so I was saying to my husband, babe, I don't understand. This whole thing is just weird, but it's funny. Funny. Because just when you think, because that thing about youth is you exude confidence. Everything is like, you can get 4 hours of sleep and you're functioning. Now I get less than 8 hours of sleep. I am not, like, I'm grumpy. and that's just probably okay. No, my knees are fine, guys. Honestly, if God started taking that away, I'll be like, okay, I'm done with you too. No, I don't have knee problems. I think it's the lower back but I started yoga with Maurice. Maurice is wonderful. She does yoga. And she comes to my house, and we've done one session, actually. Let me not make it sound like I do yoga all the time. I don't. I've just started. I started, and then unfortunately we had the passing in our family, so I had to kind of pause that for a while, but we start again next week. And my doing yoga was more about just adding a bit of, an exciting thing in my fitness routine, because all I do is walk a lot, and walking does impact your lower back a lot. So that's why I have to have a Thai massage at least once a week or once every 2 weeks. But yeah, yoga was really about, I've started that. I know, I can be so honest. So yeah, no, I'm an oven now, hey? It's like, literally, if you, I'm constantly hot. I'm like, but no, this is just it just messes up with your mind because I shouldn't be feeling some of these things. But then my gynae did call it 2 years ago. So now I'm like, oh, okay, fine. I realized she was talking to me, But here's the other thing that goes with, growing older. It's the fact that I guess I can laugh at it because I really have no regrets. I have nothing I haven't done that I wanted to do. I have not, in fact, for me, if you've ever heard me say this, and if you've read any of my books, you'll know that growing older for me is like this big miracle. It's the biggest miracle on earth because literally I cannot believe like that I'm 45. It's like no ways. There's no way I made it to here. So, and that's a factor of having come from every day thinking, oh my gosh, that's it, I'm gonna die, right? As a child. So my sense as a child is that of like I don't have a sense of permanence. So I don't ever think I'm gonna be alive tomorrow. Whilst you might think it's a very exhausting life to think about of life that way, it's not. It's just that I think I choose to look at it as a big gift that I leave nothing undone or unsaid. I will, if I dropped now and gone, I can assure you, it's not a it's not a matter of, oh my gosh, there's things I still need to do. No, nothing. In fact, I am so grateful my kids are a little more grown. For me, that was always my prayer is God, keep me long enough to see my kids grow. Of course, I want to see more and more and more of that. But we don't know what we have. We don't know if tomorrow is gifted to us. So everything I do it now, like now, and I'm a very uncompromising person. When I want what I want, and what I don't want, I don't want. And I've grown more to be like that. And which brings me to also another thing that I've been thinking about, this concept of, your best is yet to come. I don't know, hey, if that thing really is, it's a weird thing to say. How can you say your best is yet to come when you don't even know this? We can say that to younger people, giving them hope that something is, they can work towards being better. And I understand it in those contexts. But the truth is that we don't know if our best is yet to come. So why don't we become our best in the moment now? Because just in case you don't wake up tomorrow, because there are many people who are 6 feet under. I almost said 3 feet under. I'm like, no, 3 feet doesn't sound right. Who are 6 feet under or who are long gone, who would have loved for their best to come. Maybe they said, my best is yet to come. And then they were gone in that moment. So what are you doing with the moment that you have now? What are you doing with the moment you have now? Because it's not, we cannot keep hoping that tomorrow you'll take the chance. Tomorrow you'll go after what you want. Tomorrow you'll be better. Tomorrow you'll put your best foot forward. Tomorrow, what if tomorrow does not come? And so many of us worry about tomorrow. And then when we reach that tomorrow, we're still worried about the next tomorrow. But we're not doing the things that we really want to do. The things that we really desire in life. You desire wonderful relationships, but you're still stuck in toxic relationships because you keep hoping tomorrow things will get better. But it's 10 years later, 15 years later, nothing is getting better. So that the best is yet to come thing, I think for me is something that requires a little, relook. Let's revisit. What does that actually mean? So one thing we know for sure is that now is what we have. So why don't we do the things we want now and the things that we desire now? And I say, you know what, if tomorrow did not come, if tomorrow was not gifted to you, how will you look back at your life? You know, what are some of the things when you look back now and assume now in this moment that you do not have tomorrow? What are you going to look back on and think, I should have done that differently, or I wish I had done this, or I wish I had done that? And start to do that, you know? So it's almost like a work backward type scenario. Guys, we are all going to die. This is one of the things that are as sure as breathing. And yes, of course, our relationship with death is, as humans, we don't want to deal with death. But, and I guess also depending on your own belief, we are all going to die. I don't know if there's someone that's going to make it out of this thing alive. Eh? So if we are guaranteed that we are going to die, and it is no longer like, I don't know, back when it was where people only died in their 70s, in their 80s, you know. I mean, I don't have to tell you this, you know this. So if we know for sure, all of us, we know for sure, if there is one thing we are all 100% sure of, it does not matter where you are in the world, it does not matter where you've come from, what your circumstances are, there is one thing we are all 100% sure of, all at the same time, all in the same way, is that we are going to die, is that we will leave, we will depart. That is one thing for sure, guys. It's the one thing that unites us all. You know, death and pain, and I guess, no, not taxes, because some countries you don't pay tax. So taxes, no, don't unite us globally. But death and pain unite us globally. So when I say unite us, make us seem relatable to one another. Make us seem like we are of the same species. So if that is one thing we are sure of, and it's not just us who are sure of it, our ancestors were sure of it. Them, people before them were sure of it. Many of ours after us are sure of it. So if we are so sure of it, why do we hold ourselves back from living the life that we need to be living, we should be living? And it's not about do you have enough to do whatever. It's about what is your conviction in your ability to conquer the things that you're facing. And what is your ability in fighting for the dreams that you deserve? Do you even believe you deserve them? So, yeah, this is what happens when I sit and think. I think too much. I think too much. But I like it, you know. I like provoking thought, not just in myself, but in all of us as a collective, to say, guys, we all, yes, the biggest arrogance in human beings is thinking we're going to live forever. So no, everything we can leave it till tomorrow, leave it till tomorrow. But we know for a fact that we will not live forever. We may not see tomorrow. And this is a guaranteed truth. Of all the truths of truth, this is a guaranteed truth. So why do we let people walk all over us? Why do you think others are created to have a better life than us? Why do we let people destroy what God rightfully gave us? Our ability to dream, our ability to go after what we want, our ability to imagine a better life. But it's not enough to just imagine it. It's not enough to pray about it. You got to get up and do something about it, because God has gifted you this life. Whether you believe in God or not, something, someone, somewhere has gifted you this life. So what is your thank you gift to them? What is your thank you gift to them? How are you showing gratitude for the life that you've been gifted? And I don't know if holding back and letting fear take over, letting past mistakes take over, letting, people who do not value us stick around, letting, I don't know if that is a way to honor the gift of life. I don't know if that's a way to honor the gift of life. Now, I'm not judging how you're doing it. I'm not saying there's a right or wrong answer to this. It's for you to answer it. It's for you to answer it. But for me, I have had to use every ounce of me to say, God, you gifted me this life. I am going to put it to good use. Yeah, of course, when I'm gone, some people will forget about me. You all will forget you even had somebody called Amanda, whom you used to like laugh with online. So half of the things we do in life are really about ourselves. But what if how we're living our lives now and what we're giving to others in some shape or form, what if that is how we will be remembered? What if actually that's just one time you managed to change somebody's life through you just being you, through you just being you, through you just using the gift that you were gifted, just the life you were gifted. Use it to go after what you want, and therefore giving permission to others to say, actually, it's okay. You don't have to keep thinking that, oh, I'm not doing it right. Nobody is. Hey, nobody is. Not a single person has a formula to this thing. So yeah, we can share our experiences. We can be inspired. We can motivate each other. We can, we can hold one another's hands. But ultimately, it's your life and you're the one that has to live it. So how are you living it? How are you honoring those who have gifted you this life? And when it's gone, when those moments, when it's going, what will be that reflection point, And I think we should take the moment now to reflect. Assume now that the life is not going to be there tomorrow. So what is it that you are looking back on and thinking, okay, I'm sorted, or I'm good? Guys, I can tell you, when I die, hey man, you can be sad, because I imagine a world without me. Imagine a world without me. That's sad. But I can assure you, you should not ever have to think, Aisha, Amanda still had this and that to do. No, whatever I don't get to, I don't get to. But I can assure you, there is nothing that I sit and look back on and think, Aisha Marayazi, God, give me another chance. I still have to do this. Because I've always moved forward with the step that says I may not have tomorrow. And that, in fact, who am I to think I deserve tomorrow? So it's so important. Legacies are not something that we're not, whilst legacies are things that people place upon us, but we still have to live a life that is worthy of that legacy, because we all have a legacy. We are all leaving something behind. It's your choice what that is, because even serial killers and rapists and priests and I'm not putting priests and serial killers and rapists in the same line. I'm just saying some people might be committed to doing God's work, others might be committed to doing the devil's work. There's a legacy either way. So your legacy, before the Christians throw Bibles at me. Sometimes the English is not Englishing, guys, forgive me. But so there is that appreciation that whatever, we all have a legacy. So it's not just some special people and then others. The legacy is there. What you leave behind is what your legacy will be. How you made people feel is what your legacy will be. How you were present for those you care about is what your legacy is. How you were present for yourself and showed up for yourself is your legacy, because some people are watching that and thinking, oh my gosh, I need to start doing that for myself. And once they do, they realize, oh my Lord, I'm flying, because of this concept of it's okay to care about others. There's nothing wrong with that. It's okay to prioritize and give others your love and care and attention. What is not okay is doing that at your expense. What is not okay is constantly leaving yourself behind. So one way or the other, we are all leaving some kind of legacy. And it's our choice, each and every one of us. It's the choice to say, what kind of legacy will that be? How will you have made people feel? And that one is a very personal, question to yourself. Okay, let me see. Question. Amu says, I saw you at the Unlimited Fest, and I must say, no way I'm the same. Every day I'm definitely doing the work, showing up, but most importantly, serving and feeling self. You, ma'am, have a major part in that. Thank you. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I'm so glad you had a good time. I'm glad I made a difference. It was very, 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 very good for me to be there, because first of all, supporting Bumi, and I support her in everything she does, but her first big event, and incredible. It was really great to be there, so I appreciate that. And yeah, so that's pretty much what I wanted to pop in and share, is that don't worry, when I'm quiet, I'm still living. It's not like, I shame Amanda, what is she up to? She's so quiet. No, don't worry about me. And life as it is, I say, we must celebrate not just the let me put it this way. The true value and the true worth of our lives is not in just the highs that we experience. So it's not in just the achievements and the accomplishments. It's also in the lows. It's also in the mistakes. It's in the stresses, in the strains. It's in the reflection points. So we cannot just only be thinking we are living when we are accomplishing, because the tough times are also living. And in fact, our characters are tested, and our resilience is built during those tough times. So it's not that I'm always slaying dragons, drinking champagne. No, I'm not, because I'm not that special. I'm just another normal human being who goes through normal human being things. So, but the point of it is, how are you navigating the tough times? And how are you handling the times when you're winning? Because some people think winning is all there is to life. It's not. You know this, right? But people get so fixated on winning, they forget that actually what we should really be focused on again as well is not just the winning, but in how do you brave the headwinds when they hit you, and see tough times and challenges as those moments where you can build up your character, such that when you're winning, you're not so arrogant and thinking that you're always going to be winning, because life is cycles, right? Every season changes. So if seasons change, so do our lives, right? There's a time for crying, there's a time for celebrating, there's a time when you do both at the same time. And I hope that in some shape or form we allow ourselves the latitude and grace to say, actually, my life is still worth celebrating, even if I'm not killing it, because we can't be killing things all the time, guys. There'll be nothing left to kill. Slay dragons, it's exhausting. It's exhausting. And one of the things I did say at the Unlimited Fest is that success is exhausting. It's tiring to be successful. The happiest of people are the ones who are just mediocre and choose mediocrity, and they're okay with it. And we're calling it mediocre because from where we are, it's mediocre, but it's not for them, it's success. So it's about defining what it is that you want and how far you're willing to go. I was chatting to a friend of mine recently, and she was saying how she's studying and doing all these things, and I looked at it and I said, one of the things that I've done over the years is think about studying further. Now, I'm not an academic, guys. I am not that person. I just went to university to get my degree so that the door can just open. I did not go there to then get another 5 degrees. I'm not, it's not me. And I know that on these social media streets, you're supposed to, especially, those people who are seemingly, role models, and I'm supposed to lie to you and say, I'm studying for my postgrad, and I'm studying for my MBA, I'm studying for my master's, and I'm not. I'm not studying anything whatsoever. I'm not. So when I look at it, and I'm like, sometimes I have the desire to study. And then I look at, okay, so if I go study, what is it taking from me? What is the cost of that? And what am I going to get when I do study? Because you must understand, I'm not at a life stage where I care for a certificate. It's like, whether I have it now or not, it no longer really makes a difference. So what is the cost to me? And I always just in Chechele Mover, and no, everyone getting an MBA is not a new thing. It's been like that for many years, especially because corporates have been funding it, and they are funding it. And again, nothing wrong with it if people want that. But the question for me is, what am I giving up and what am I gaining? So I hope that in a way, when you do your own planning about what you want to do, it's not just about because other people are doing it, therefore I must also do it. So of course I can imagine how nice it is for some people to show photos of themselves in class or in front of the vet hall or at UCT. I can tell it does not excite me at all. I always think, what did you give up for that? And that's literally how my life has been, is what am I giving up and what is the benefit? So if I think about it, I have to give up my life with my family because I have to study and commit myself to studying. And then what that means is, let's say I'm committed to the studying for another 2 years. Therefore, I'm losing 2 years with my children. And in another 2 years, my twins will be 18 years old. So that's how my brain works, right? It's what are the things that are most important to me? And okay, so whatever I'm going to do, does it take away from that or does it add to it? I can tell you, Mena, I'm not studying anything. I have no interest in studying. Okay, rephrase. I have an interest in studying social anthropology further, because that's my thing. I'm at my happiest when anthropology for me is that I would do a master's in anthropology. But again, is what is it taking away from me right now? So when my kids are older and they're out of the house and they're now living their lives, which is not long from now, possibly I'll be that 60-year-old that's rocking masters and PhDs. I don't know how, but it's not for me. I have to get honorary degrees. I can't wait for a varsity to say, Amanda, we'd like to honor you with a doctorate. I will milk it for everything it's got. But I'm not going to sit and study for it. no, no. I have a husband who is, he'll tell you he's not academic, but he has 4 degrees. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 degrees for postgrads. 4 postgrads, of those 3 are degrees. And he also has an MBA. And me, I'm like, when we have to produce, those things that require your qualifications, Mina, I have 1 to produce. Yeah, now I have to make copies of multiples of things. I'm like, I know me, I'm street smart, I'm okay. So, why am I saying this? Besides the fact that it's funny. Why I'm saying this is because it's so easy for us to constantly want to do what other people are doing or what others are doing, because we are under so much pressure to be seen to be doing something that society approves of. But what is the cost to you? I have had the great pleasure and the great privilege of lecturing to MBA students. When these universities invite me, I'm like, I don't have an MBA. I don't even have a master's. Guys, I don't even have an honors. I just have a degree. I'm on your first degree. Okay, in South Africa, we call them undergrads, but I think in the US, undergrad is just before you get your degree. All I needed was street, Mina. Street. Nothing, absolutely nothing can get over me. And what I don't know, I will learn. Google's your friend. So don't be too hard on yourself if you're not achieving the things that other people are achieving. Be very clear about, is it what you want? Is it enabling your vision? And if you need to, please do. I mean, there are people who give up their family lives just to go study at Harvard. Angek. Angek. Shame. Never. Never. Like, no. I can meet someone today who says, which by the way I do, hey, but let me not say never, guys. Just now, tomorrow you see me saying, hey, guys, adios, I'm going to Harvard. I probably wouldn't tell you. Because I'll be like, I can't reverse what I said. Ooh. You see, perimenopause is hitting me. I am so hot. Yeah, stop it, guys. Gosh. Okay, so yeah, it's about understanding what it is that what is your vision and what is enabling your dreams and your vision. For me, I've only ever wanted to be the best mom, a present mom, an encouraging mom. That's all I've ever wanted. Like, nothing on this earth can take away from that. So, it's so fundamental to know what it is that what is it that matters to you, and what is it that you are willing to give up, because ultimately you'll get drawn into every single thing that people are doing, and listen, if you keep running off and doing what others are doing, you are not only putting yourself in danger of not achieving your own dreams, but you are also exposing yourself to other people's paths that you have nothing to do with. And you may end up in a spot where you feel like you're not enough, because if it's not in your path, you are not going to achieve it. Let's just be clear. You are not going to achieve things that are not in your path. And you are going to see what the Dlaminis are doing out there, and then you are going to think that's what is in your path only because you want it. No, focus on what it is that resonates with you. Guys, I can go and look pretty in a lecture hall and try and get a degree, and then come home and have kids that won't even talk to me. For me, that would be the most devastating thing in my life. So for as long as I have the window, I call it the window of opportunity. That window is about me connecting with my family, connecting with my children, and connecting with, in fact, look, now the mid-age issues are not just issues. They also, it's not just me that's in my mid-age, it's my husband too. So we have to talk about these things. And so when these kids are leaving, what do we do? Like, okay, now we need to kind of like reimagine our lives outside of kids, because it's easy to sit there and say people must have date nights, must find ways to have a connection with one another. When you are in the middle of children and raising children, yes, you have to find a way to stay connected, but I can tell you, they consume everything. So the ones who make it in their marriage or their relationships on the other side of the kids, I get those are the ones that are true to each other, in spite of, because shame, they do take over. So the point is that I don't know what the point was. I don't know what the point was, but I'm sure you got the point. Sorry, the comments fly by very quickly, so I won't be able to answer a question if it's in the comment section. Just put it in the question box. You know the drill, guys. I haven't been gone that long. Okay, you know the drill. So there are those things that you also have to start thinking about. Again, guys, I'm telling you, the beauty of youth is that you never have to think about things like this. You just carry on with life, as though things land on your lap. You get to a point where you're just like, oh, by the way, I must also tell you the reality of, okay, they say that, a lot, all of us won't not all of us, but we're at that age where there's no retirement. The reason there's no retirement is because people haven't put away enough money. So people have to continue to work because they have not put away, enough. And the question is, in these days, so I can sit here and tell you, guys, put away as much money as you can for retirement. But also, like, times are tough, eh? I made the big mistake of watching the governor speak the other day, our sub-governor, the central bank governor, telling us 5 basis points increase in interest rates. And I sat there and I thought, hey man, yes, times are tough, because it's easy for me to know that times are tough, but what I always do is try and focus on what I can change. And if I can't change it, I literally zone out. I block it out of my head. And I know that sometimes that you run the risk of being seen as out of touch. I'm not out of touch. I know poverty. I know hardship. I know struggle. I see it. I've been in it. So now I can sit here and tell you like the good old, like a good responsible citizen. And I'm an elder now in society. So I'm an elder now. So I love Carolyn. I'm an elder now, so I can say things like this. That I'm supposed to tell you that you should be putting aside most of your money, because tell you what, retirement age creeps up on you, but it doesn't creep up on you. It's just years, they come. But you're so busy doing so many other things that you think retirement age is so far. I know Amanda as an elder is like, I am, guys. I'm 45, And my body is reminding me that I am, even though I'm like, you're lying. Yes, I'm an elder, a responsible elder foot. So I'm gonna tell you, whatever you do, try and delay the instant gratification, which we all love, including me, present company included. Put away as much as you can, because listen, you get here and you're like, I'm 45 and I'm thinking, no, I'm due to retire, so, but the problem is I'm not going to be able to access my retirement funds now. So it's about, okay, I have a sprint now for 5 years, because I mean, guys, I don't like to work anymore. I've worked and got it. I'm tired. Going around begging people for business, I'm tired. Sure. I'm done. Done, 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 done. So the point is, the beauty and the arrogance of youth is thinking that you have all these years. And then you wake up one day and you're like, how? So I'm fortunate on the one end to say that I started saving for retirement on my first job. My first job, guys, I was getting paid, it was 2,000. So that's 23 years ago when I started working. I was getting paid 3,500 rands. And a month, 3,500. Yo. But I put away 10% from that day on in a retirement annuity. But of course, over time, you have to then mix up, you speak to a professional financial advisor. You do not give your money to scammers online claiming to be me or anybody for that matter. Nobody's going to make you get rich quick. There's no such thing as getting rich quick. I mean, I don't know, maybe it exists in other worlds, but in other people's lives, not as far as I know my life. So make sure that you speak to your bank, you speak to a financial advisor, insurance companies, they have those, and speak to a broker and talk about what you need to be doing now. Guys, estate planning is everything as well. Because these are some of the elements I bring onto my Vastly Sage event every year. Is what are some of the elements that we can talk about that enable us to live a better future and a better life. I honestly do not want a life where my kids have to look after me. That I can tell you would kill me completely. In fact, I'm that parent, and judge me if you wish. I don't care. I'm that parent who's like, if my kids are 26 and they still need money, I'll give it to them. I don't care. Remember, we're all gonna die. You live your life the way you want to live your life. I've equipped my kids to go out and live a life where they can be independent. But I can assure you, if they need something and I'm able to provide it, I will provide it. I'm not like those rich people there who say, oh, I'm not leaving a cent to my kids. Hey, those people don't know poverty. Some of them say, oh, no, we came from poverty, so the kids have to fight so hard for their lives. They have to. I'm like, not me. Man, I'm not going to have my kids begging anyone for anything, not if I can help it. So my prayer every day is my kids should never forget the values we've taught them. My kids will never forget how hard it is to make money, to work for money. My kids will not forget that they must use their talents, their hands and their brain to make sure they never go to bed hungry. But as a parent, it is my job to also make sure that I take them as far as I can. I don't care what yours is. I don't care if, but you're spoiling your kids. They must learn to be independent. My kids will get their lessons that they deserve from life with or without me. I can assure you that. But me as a parent, I have very clear things that I will do. And they have nothing to do with other people. I don't care whether you give your kids money or you don't give money to them. What I don't want is for my kids to look after me. But I feel it's my job to always make sure that I'm enabling them in some shape or form. Of course, with some very clear, expectations and discipline around those things. So again, don't try and go after what other people are saying. These people who have mega millions and they say they'll leave nothing to their children. So your child must suffer and go just so you can prove a point. Who are you proving the point to exactly? You'll be dead when. So, so your kids must be left behind to suffer after you, first of all, sacrificed every single hour you had so that you could make the same money. You did not spend enough time with them, but somehow you are saying they must suffer and get punished for your values or whatever it is that you think is your values. No, I'm not judging it. I'm just trying to clarify something. I just want to check something. So you're spending all of your life building some wealth or some kind of means so that you can leave nothing for them. And you left them at home, didn't give them the time they desired, didn't give them the attention they desired, but somehow you're then going to decide that after all of that, I'm not giving you anything when I'm gone. Okay. Is that how? Oh, okay. I get it. I'd rather have the opposite happen than children who will go live under the bridge because unfortunately they don't live up to my own expectations of what they should be. But that's just me, of course. That's just me. Okay. Coltana says, what advice would you give to a young woman in their early 20s? Do you think it's wise, especially if you're a student and finding yourself? Okay, I don't know what you're asking about, my love, so maybe just ask the question again, because what advice would I give to a woman in their early 20s? Yo, I think I've written books about it. So it's what advice? What in particular? And do I think it's wise, especially if you're a student? What do I think is wise? So just ask the question again, okay? Hi, sister. What advice would you give to a woman dating in their 20s? Oh, okay. Wait. Baby? Babe? Can you top me up? What advice would I give to a woman dating in their 20s, and do I think it's advisable? So let me finish that question. Do I think it's advisable? Oh no, sorry. Thank you, Ben. So yes, please, it's highly advisable. Why not? I don't know. I don't know why not. That is actually the time you should be doing it. So, hamba jola. Jola nje, ujole nje. Yazi ujole. Ujole. That's the time you should be doing it, in your 20s. Is it advisable for a student? Yes, very much so. Very much so. Very much so. Because that's when you're supposed to be doing it. Be safe, please. There's contraceptives, there's condoms, there's do what you need to do, okay? And make sure that you are choosing right. Yes, choose right. And you won't always know if you're choosing right, but your gut will tell you. And remember the things, the values, the value system is everything, even when you are just dating. Because you could just be dating and then the next thing you are marrying this person. So in your 20s, my love, that's when it's going down. it's going down. Yo. Oh, but you have to, please, Jola, Nje food. Very much so. Very much so. Yes, that's when you get to experiment. Because then soon you're married. Yeah. Then you're married. So it's definitely the right time to do it in your 20s. 20s are the most perfect age to do it. So please go ahead, student or not, go ahead and date. Enjoy your dating life. When you're married, the dating stops. So, and the dating the dating is what enables you to get to your person, if that is what you are after, is what enables you to get to your person. So date. When I met my person at 28, we were married the very next year, 29. So the 20s are the year for it. For it. By the way, if it does not happen in your 20s, does not mean that there's something wrong with you, because it might not be in your path. It might be that you end up with someone, a life partner of some kind, or you're one of those who get the great pleasure of traveling the world and sampling. Oh, you're so lucky. No, guys, it's a joke. So please, I actually love this question. I've never been asked this question. I think it's the best question I've ever been asked. Yeah, do it. Happy, you can't be jolaring ushadile. Once you're married, that's it, guys. You've chosen your person, and I hope that whoever you've chosen is the person you spend the rest of your life with. So, or not, I don't know. I mean, who cares? It's your life. But yes, please do it in your. My laugh is loaded. It is loaded because it. Yes, but it was good, ne? Oh, thank you. Glad you like it. Yeah, Ketia, that's it. So, you have to be. I think you need to get it out of your system. That's what I'm saying. So jokes aside, it's 100. Actually, no jokes aside. I'm 45 now, so I can laugh at these things because, wow. So please do. The 20s is the time to figure yourself out. It's, no, I don't eat pies. Enjoy. You remember how? Since when now do you think I eat pies? I'm just making sure. Okay, baby, thank you. Sorry, guys. There's also a lot of activity in front of me. So yes, please, safely, responsibly, and make sure that you move in the right circles and the right areas. I mean, guys, it's been 17 years since I stopped dating, so I don't really know what's happening now in that world. But here's what I'll tell you. Don't limit yourself to your local cuisine. Don't limit yourself to your local cuisine. How can I have grandkids when I'm 45? What kind of question is this? What do you people do in your homes? Like, my firstborn children are not even 16 yet. It's not 1923. Aibo, these people. Anyway, about local cuisine. Make sure that you go and, sample regional, international cuisine. Don't just limit yourself to just limit yourself to, just what you know, because this is the problem. People limit their options, and then they think there's nothing good out there because you're limiting your options. So go out there, enjoy different offerings. We are safe, we are responsible, we move in the right circles, we do what is healthy for us, okay? All right, okay. Yes, have a white palette. I like that. Make sure that... How can 45-year-olds have grandchildren? Okay, I get it. Yeah, local is not always like... Yeah, especially when all the fish are taken. You can also go fish in Lesotho. Hi guys, you're killing me. Okay, well listen, it is true that some 45-year-olds might be grandparents. No, I'm not. I don't. That's just not right. Like, I'm busy dealing with soon coming to the end of my own reproductive cycle, and now I have to be thinking about becoming a grandma. No. Okay. No, I said go fish in Lesotho, and not just fish in South Africa. By the way, Lesotho has some of the best trout I've ever tasted in my life. I'm now talking about real trout, guys. All right, Jeannie. Okay, let's see where I'm at. Are these PJs? No, it's this is a suit. It goes with shorts. It's like a leisure thing by, okay, I won't mention brands. They didn't pay me. But yeah, it's leisure. No, you can't sleep in this. It's got like gold trimming and stuff. Do people sleep? No, it's not for sleeping. It's leisure. And that's it, leisure way. Leisure way. Thank you very much. I think they're still in Hyde Park corner. Okay, so just give me a moment. This question says, Pusa says, have you ever beaten yourself up and regretted anything in motherhood? And if so, how did you deal with it? No, not at all. I have very, very few regrets in my life. And not because I have not made mistakes or did things that I wasn't proud of, but I actually have a very simple view of my life. I make the decisions that I make with the information that I have at that point in time. So I make the decisions that I make with the information that I have at that point in time. And sometimes the outcome is not what I desired, but I cannot regret the process that I went through. And so as a mother, I have never beaten myself up about anything, because it doesn't mean I've been and I don't want to say I'm a perfect, I don't want to use the word perfect mother, because I think I am a perfect mother. Hey, when your benchmark is something else. Yeah. Some of you will get that joke. But the point is that I think the biggest awakening moment, so let's call it awakening moment, was when I was in my corporate job. And in fact, you can get my book Baked in Pain at amandatambuza.com. I narrate the story of how I actually left corporate, and it was a moment with my children, my twins, my firstborn children, who were in grade 1 at the time. They actually had just started grade 1, and they had just turned. They were turning 7, and In that moment, I feel like God gifted me one of the most precious moments I'll ever experience in my life, because I also had the option of either listening or not. When your children call you up on your own BS, if I may call it that, when your children put up a mirror and give it to you like it is. And for me, that was a big prod in my journey as a mother, because up until that point I thought I was solving for one problem, and then I had actually created another hole in somewhere else. So I won't tell you much. You must just get the book. How if I tell you everything, you'll never buy the book. Anyway, so no, I don't have regrets as a mom. But here's what I'll tell you about motherhood: you are constantly feeling guilty for things you didn't even do, or things you are yet to do, and you need to manage that guilt. Because I can tell you, I left the twins when they were 4 months old. My husband and I went to Mpumalanga for 4 days, 3 days, 5 days. I was still breastfeeding them. Somebody else asked me, but who's with the kids? Like, they're with the nanny. They're fine. So if I need a break, I'm no good as a mother to anyone. So you decide what your limits are, but be very aware of the fact that inherently as a mother, you're going to have this guilt. Because I don't necessarily think that it's a guilt that's inborn, or that is how much is the book? Go to the website, you'll see the price. So inherently, it's not so much that we are born with guilt as mothers or women who become mothers. It's what society has placed on us. Guys, I just said the book is at amandadambuza.com. I didn't say it's also at amandadambuza.com. That's where the book is. Thank you very much. With respect. So it's not a matter of you're born as a mom, you're born with the guilt. It's what society has placed upon us as mothers over the generations as guilt. And therefore, every generation passes it down to the next generation. And and I don't know if any of us are not guilty of it in some shape or form, but I think once you become aware of it, you are able to craft a different path. So the narrative that says a mother cannot be a person that leaves their children when they're still young and cannot pursue a career. Those traditional norms of what a mother is. And I think that as a mom, that you're always going to have that sense of you not spending enough time with your kids. I mean, that's why I left corporate. So if you're feeling that way, then do something about it. Or you actually deal with the fact that you cannot be in two places at the same time. So it doesn't mean you cannot pursue your career, but when you're with your kids, be with your kids. Because the single biggest thing that we all make a mistake that I found we all make, and I made it multiple times, is that we push to, you come home, you're busy with your family, and at the same time you have your laptop open, your phone open. Your kid is trying to tell you something that happened in the day at school. You're not paying attention because you're constantly responding to an email. Everything is urgent on your phone and your laptop. Everything is urgent. But guess what? Nothing is important. Nothing is more important than your family in that moment. So you must decide, and it's one of the things I'm able to really teach. And I don't want to say teach because that makes me sound like I know and somebody doesn't. So let me say, one of the things I try and impart on others, particularly young working moms who are still building up their careers, is that it's not a zero-sum game. It's not a zero-sum game. It's not if I don't focus on my career, therefore I'll lose the family. Or if I focus on my family, therefore I lose the career. No. you can actually have both and be successful at it. I still have both and I'm successful at it. So it's knowing when to do what. If you're on the job, be on the job. But the problem with you guys is that, and I say you guys now because I'm no longer in corporate, so I can point fingers at you, is is the fact that you'll get paid for 8 hours, but you work for 14 hours. And that time that you're busy working extra is the time you should be with your family. And when you're with your family, you continue to work. So you keep stealing from your family, from your personal time, not just, even if you have kids or you don't have kids, it's your personal time. But you keep stealing from it so that you give it to the job. The same job that tomorrow gonna dump you like a hot potato, like you never existed. So spend time understanding why it is that you feel guilty. And maybe you don't know why you feel guilty as a mom. Work out those moments when you're feeling guilty. Write it down and say, what was happening in that moment when you were feeling guilty? And I can tell you that none of us are immune to the societal expectations and what we've been fed for generations as moms. None of us are immune to it, but once you are aware of what is driving the guilt, then you can start to change it. You can start to fine-tune what matters for you, because ultimately, guys, whether we judge you personally, I think no one should judge any parent. Okay, unless you're busy taking shambox and beating your children, which, by the way, thank you for the legal system. You cannot do that. You may do it, but you might end up in jail. So we can judge you if you are abusing your children. Yes, please, I will judge you, number one. But if you're just a parent doing the best you can, you love your kids, you do the best you can, then you know what? No one should judge you. And you do what's right for you. But do not try and live your life according to other people's templates and according to what you were told. Because guess what's going to happen here? By the way, let me now talk to my fellow sisters, womanship. Your biggest freedom ticket is your independence. Your independence. I speak to so many women who are housewives, house executives, whatever you call yourself, that unfortunately have not structured that relationship such that it still works for them. If you are going to give up your career, you need to understand that you're giving up your earning potential and your earning ability. And if the conversation is that you must give that up, you still have to find a way to retain your independence one way or the other. So the biggest ticket that gets used in relationships, unfortunately, to abuse people is money. So if you decide, Wena, that you're going to be a housewife or a house husband, okay, I was talking to the sisters, but okay, let me spread it and talk to the brothers too. If you decide you're going to be a house something, even if you are not a man or woman, you don't identify, it's fine. If you decide, whatever gender you are, that you're going to be a house person and look after the cats, the pets, the dogs, the fish, the children, that's fine. But understand that money is the one ticket that can rob you of your freedom. So you have to find a way to negotiate earning an income somehow in this thing, whatever it is, however you do it. Because there is no dignity in being a grown woman, a grown human, and asking another human for little money to go buy Izambak for your lips. No, there isn't. So how do you make sure that you play that very critical and very important role whilst not losing the essence of your freedom? Because it doesn't matter what you say, guys. He who owns the purse, she who owns the purse calls the shots. That's just how it is. So either you want to find a way to get into the purse and get your share of the purse, because if I'm supposed to give up my career, I'm giving up what's important to me. So, negotiate. I'm just saying, just negotiate, and understand that, again, goes back to the conversation I had earlier, which is, whatever you do, what is the cost to you? What is the cost to you, and what is the benefit? And absolutely nothing wrong with being a stay-home person. But again, you give up something, right? So, but I think there's a way that you can do it. Much like there's a way you can still build a career in corporate and be a successful parent or successful mom, there's still a way that you can be a stay-home human and stay-home person and not give up your economic freedom, because things are what they are today because of giving up the economic freedom. And one of the things that are a deep heartbreak for me, and unfortunately I can't help people who've gone through something like that, because I'm not equipped to. It might look like I have answers for everything, guys. I really don't. And I hope you start to know that I don't. But somebody who comes to me and says, I am a woman in my 40s. I gave up my job, my career 15 years ago, 20 years ago, when we had kids. And he has left me. I have nothing. For me, that's the biggest, no, that's an injustice. And remember, that movie, there's a thin line between love and hate. So once you're all still busy loving each other, making babies and thinking, everything's going to be fine, we love each other, you're always going to have my back. Hey, there's a thin line between love and hate. Someone moves from loving you with everything they've got to wanting to strip you naked of everything and humiliate you. So when you go into relationships, do not go into relationships only with a romantic eye, rose-tinted lenses. You're just full of love. Guys, you can't guarantee that it's always going to be like that. So how do you protect yourself to make sure that you're not busy pleading with someone to open the door for you or open the gate because they locked it? Because they locked you out of your own house, out of your own home. But guess what? Because you gave up your financial freedom, you gave up your economic right for what is right, whatever you believe is right. But remember, it's not always going to be like that, honey. So I have no idea what the point of this point is or the conversation is. I don't even know how I got to this point. But I think you got the vibes. Okay. Precious says, hey Amanda, would you be keen to venture into another company now as an investor? No. I already do that, but Lunga says, is point one. Okay, thank you very much for clarifying that there's more points to come. This one says, is there a moment you feel overwhelmed with all that you do, and how do you deal with that? Oh, yeah. I do feel overwhelmed sometimes, and I can 100% tell you it's a very natural phenomenon. When you take on too much and you be everything to everyone, and this is why when I started the conversation around rest, when I started this live, it was a conversation around rest, and it is so important to know when to pull back, because we all feel overwhelmed. We all get into situations where we feel like we're not coping for whatever reason. So understand that there is we all have a breaking point. No matter how far you can push the limit and push the boundaries, we all have a breaking point because our bodies are not designed to keep taking and taking and taking without actually replenishing. Our minds and our spirits and our souls are not designed for that. So, of course, I feel overwhelmed. In fact, I think of all the people, I'm one that feels overwhelmed most of the time because of how much I give to others. So, and as extroverted as I am equally introverted. So I get very overwhelmed sometimes by people's energy, and because I'm an energy person, and sometimes you're in a space where people are demanding so much of you, and literally I have to draw back, and I do that in that moment, do what I need to, and then I have to literally run back into my shell. So, and sometimes it could be the job. I mean, I've had on in my business for the last couple of months, I've had to deal with some serious cash flow issues because clients have delayed payments. So I've had to tap dance a lot, and it's been taxing heavily. So that's overwhelming. There's a lot. There's a lot that we deal with, and I think that the assumption should be that we all get overwhelmed, and that it does not matter what it is, you will get overwhelmed down the road. And that's when you need to pull back and replenish. That's when also in between, you don't even have to get to a point where you feel overwhelmed. When you know and understand your rhythm. And now my body tells me when I've overexerted myself. I mean, it might sound very bourgeois or very privileged, but last week I worked from Monday from Monday. By the time I got to Friday, not Friday, Thursday evening, I was spent. I couldn't even, I was just like, I can't anymore. But that's because I gave up my Monday. So as a result, I had to take back the Friday so that I can replenish. So, and again, when you've had the great privilege of, and I say great privilege because there's so many lessons in it, when you've even been on the verge of burnout, or you've burnt out because you've overexerted yourself for such a long period of time and sustained stress for a long period of time, when your body tells you, you see, before you suffer that, your body talks to you nicely and it whispers, and then you don't listen, and then it whispers again, you don't listen, and it starts getting loud, you don't listen, and then it starts screaming. Then you have no choice but to do something. So I have had that great privilege of going through that in my corporate career, such that now when I've overexerted myself, my body screams. It doesn't whisper anymore. It skipped those steps because I no longer have the privilege because I didn't listen. So it skips those steps of whispering. It goes straight from saying nothing to screaming. So I have to literally pull myself back. And sometimes I have to decline engagements. I have to decline commitments because when my body is saying no, I have nothing else to give as somebody. So yes, I feel overwhelmed. We all do. And the only way you can is to pull back. And if maybe you are in a new job, because I mean, being overwhelmed can take in many different forms, and sometimes it could be that maybe you've started a new job, you're overwhelmed because you don't know what you're doing, and that's okay. Remember, somebody started somewhere. So even the most experienced people started somewhere. So just go and learn what you need to learn and allow yourself the grace to learn. And it's okay to ask for help from people, to get a mentor on the job and say, listen, just show me the ropes. So whatever it is and however it's showing itself up, you should be okay. Edward says, evening, Mrs. Dambuza. Hello. Question, can one really conquer self-identity? I think I need a little more context to this to answer. But let me give it a shot because I don't know what you mean by conquer self-identity. So let's assume that you don't have a sense of self, or that your identity is in question, or you've had trouble defining who you are. there's nothing to conquer there except to go through the process of defining. So that's why I'm saying I'm not sure what I understand by can you really conquer self-identity? Can you really learn to get to a point where you have defined who you are and rebuilt or built up a sense of self? Yes, you can, absolutely, hundreds. I'm definitely an example of that, because I came from a place of no family roots, no father's side, mother abandonment. So father rejection, mother abandonment, and literally just growing up like I was a seed thrown from heaven into, actually, heaven, no, I mean like from the sky into the ground and expected to grow. And fortunately, I did have people who fed me and put clothes on my back, absolutely, but that did not give me identity at all. So I've had to, over the years, build up my own identity and my own sense of self, independent of what I may have been told as a kid, independent of the lessons and the subliminal messages that I received as a kid that told me I'm nothing, I don't belong anywhere, no one wants me. So there is definitely 100% an opportunity to build up what that is and build it to be what you believe it should be, and to live up to it or grow into it. So hundreds, there's definitely a way you can do that. And you read my book, Therefore I Rose. Actually, read them both. They're both available at my website, guys, amandadambuza.com. Debe says, what's the starting over checklist when you walk away from a decade of marriage? Unfortunately, I can't give you advice. I have not walked away from a marriage. So I think it wouldn't be fair for me to even attempt to answer that. I've been married for 16 years and it doesn't look like I'm walking away anytime soon. I don't know about him, but me, I'm here. Even when he walks away, I'll be like, where do you think you're going? But here's what I would like to offer. I've spoken to people who have gone through divorces, and they always feel like they're the biggest failures, or that they messed up their lives, or I don't know, like they always have incredibly negative feelings about it. I'm only still on my first marriage, so, and the expectation that is that it must be my only one, but life happens, right? So the one thing I always say is that you cannot say it was a waste of your life or a waste of your years, because even in that, something must have come out of it, either beautiful children or a sense of knowing what you want or what you don't want. And if somebody left you, honestly, if we took away all of the pain of that, surely if you claim to love somebody, they should also be happy, even if it means it's not with you. Again, I can't give you advice on this because I don't have the experience with it. So, and I generally don't give advice on marriages because it's such a personal, journey that doesn't matter what I say to you or how I do it. How you do it is different. So I can sense the pain though in your question. So I'm sorry that you've lost what was important to you. But look at it this way: now you can be on the shelf again. I hope I'm trying to cheer you up. I don't know. But now you can go sampling trout in Lesotho. You're on the shelf again, honey. Come on, get that wig on. Well, I'm sending you lots of love, and I imagine it cannot be easy. There's one thing I can tell you, and maybe And maybe I'm crossing a line here, but I've always told myself, and again, anyone who's listened to this live since I started will know that I said I don't have a sense of permanence. So for me, I've always had this thing in the back of my head. It never consumed me or anything, or that it makes me pick out things, but I've always told myself that if my husband decided that this is no longer where he wants to be, I don't want him to keep coming home to me out of obligation, because I think I just have way too much pride. I'm prime stock, man. I'm like premium, top shelf. So if you're coming here, you should be coming because you want to come, not because you are obligated because we are married. So I've always then told myself that my husband, if he can go do what he wants, if he wants to leave, it's fine, you know. But the truth is that, and I've had to work with a therapist, in fact, to understand some of these. I told you I'm mid-age now, so I need new skills to, like, navigate my life and not and when I say, learn new skills, because I've always been in survival mode, and in survival mode, anything goes. And now I'm no longer surviving, I'm thriving. So what are some of the new skills I need to learn, and how do I harness the power of my relationships, to be the best that I can be, to others and to my partner particularly, and to myself. And I actually had to tell myself and acknowledge to myself that no, yes, Vele, if he decided to leave, I would be devastated, because I have built a life with this guy, okay? And I like him. I like the guy. So I like my life with him. And but I had to actually physically, it has taken me months to physically connect with that statement. Yes, of course I love him. Of course I built a life with him. There's no doubting that. But it was, what would be the impact to me if it ended? And to be honest, I must say that prior to that, I think I took relationships at face value, and I was very frivolous about them. But one of the things my therapist said to me was, Amanda, because I skipped that attachment phase when I was a child, I've had to now learn to emotionally attach, not just to people, of course only people I care about, but to attach to the concept of somebody. I deserve it. I deserve to attach to others much like they attach to me. So I'm very good at letting people attach to me, but I've had trouble having to attach to others. Of course, I'm 100% attached to my husband in every way possible, most. But I'm talking about the mental part and the spiritual part of that attachment. So, and I realize that I'm going into territory that I don't go into here, talking about marriage and things like that. But the point is that, I'm trying to make, I think it was Debbie, feel, however I can try and offer you some comfort, that you spent a life with somebody for 10 years, that you were told you were convinced that it should be forever. And maybe we should actually start revisiting vows and what the Bible says about marriage, especially as Christians. I don't know what others say, but the reality of it is that it's no longer just till death do us part. In fact, those who get to experience death do us part are the fortunate ones, because they've lived up to whatever is the dream, right? But I think we need to be understanding, what is it that is going to keep us together? What has brought us together? What is going to keep us together? And what brought us together may not be what keeps us together, but as a couple, how is it? How can we talk about, openly and honestly talk about what's going to get us to the next level? So, you see, Precious, this is why I didn't want to say anything, because now I'm getting questions about how did you create intimacy and not be cold. it's been 16 years of being married, so I'm pretty sure I'm not cold. I'm 100% warm, honey. I'm an oven. I'm an oven, baby. I bake. No, it's not something I'm gonna get into. So I am 100% everything my husband needs and desires and has always wanted because he tells me so. Um, but no, I am not going there. For me and Brandon always say to me, "Oh my gosh, people need to hear your marital advice." I'm like, "No, it's reserved only for you, not for people." But but remember, I bake, honey. I bake. I'm not just baked in pain. I know how to bake other stuff too. So the point is that you must understand yourself, and you must understand what you bring to the table, and you must understand who you are choosing as a partner. Because you can ask my husband anytime, he will tell you he cannot imagine marrying anybody but me, because that's the kind of person I speak to, what he needs. My husband cannot. Okay, wait. I think I'm done. So for me, my and this is not my husband's story. I'm telling my story. I don't tell other people's story. But the one thing is for sure, I came from places where my independence was too much. My ability to, I was, when people feel like you are just too much, you're doing too much. You are to this, to a place where he's like, I can't even imagine being with someone who's not that. So there's a person for everyone. And every relationship is different. Every marriage is different. That's why I don't choose to get into a subject like this, because I choose not to get into a subject like this because there is no one size fits all. There's no conversation that I can't, even if I told you how I do my things, it's not it may not resonate with you, may not apply to you, may not be anything that you desire. So or you may desire it, but it may not be something that works for you. So the point is that, though, you have to understand yourself as a person, because when you understand yourself, you therefore understand which partner is best suited to you. Also, if you're with a partner that constantly wants you to change yourself or change who you are, then you have a problem. If there's one thing, people who have been around myself and my husband in party mode, in conversation mode, if there's one thing that everybody walks away with a sense of, is how much he just lets me be myself. My husband and I are very different personality wise, but our value system is exactly the same. And there's a for me, it was a big win, a big W, as the kids say, when it was months later and I still didn't feel like I was too much, or I was too much of anything, or I was too much of, and this dude was just like, and one day he said to me, "Babe, you're exactly like I grew up with a mom who was so strong and so like in charge, and like just knew how to pull shit together, or shoot together, and therefore he cannot imagine marrying someone who's not like that." And that's exactly how I am, and for him it's peaceful that he can travel on business. By the way, some people think my husband is a house husband. No. Anyway, I don't actually have to respond. Keep thinking that way. He likes it. but when he has to travel on business, he knows things are handled. There's nothing is falling apart here, So again, you have to understand who your person is, and anyway, again, I have no idea how I ended up on this particular point, but Debe, I was trying to offer you some comfort, my love, and say that I can only imagine the hardship and the pain you're going through, because a decade with someone means a lot of investment in every way, everything possible. So yeah, all the best. Isn't he the one? Guys, I married him, so he has to be the one. Mina, I never would have if he wasn't. Um, but again, this is not about me and my husband. This is right. Asinting. Lesson says your face looks so refreshed. Do you have a skincare routine or something you use without fail? No. But now that I'm 45, but no, listen, the thing about skin, right, is that I think it doesn't matter what product you use. I have come to realize that everything is about what you put in. So your skin is not just a reflection of your outer layer, it's a reflection of what's happening inside you as well. And yes, of course, there are people with unfortunate genetics. Let's say unfortunate for them. I mean, there's nothing wrong with them. It's just genetics, right? You just have genes that, sadly create issues for your skin. But I have to acknowledge the genes that I have inherited from my mom, particularly my legs. My legs. My mother gifted me the legs. She may have taken everything else or not given me whatever else I needed, but the legs, she gave me. He gave me, and every time I see her legs, I'm like, wow, I definitely got those. She's got amazing legs. So I think there is an element of obviously genetics, but even good genes require help, guys. So your water, please drink your water, eat fruits, eat health, eat vegetables. You don't have to be eating like a monk every single day, but try and make sure that you at least have majority of your meals have got good nutrition. So I would lie to you if I said there's a particular product that I use. But again, listen, if I do some big deal with some big cosmetic company and now I come out here and I'm like, oh, ever since I started applying, look at my complexion, look at my skin tone. Don't say how, Amanda, you said the product doesn't matter. Please, I'll be trying to put food on my table. So, but one thing I'll tell you for sure, it does not matter what product you use. It's not just the product, maybe is what I'm trying to say. There's multiple different things that go into your skin. It's the peace you're experiencing. It's the calm of your own, soul. It's a lot of those things. And getting good sleep. I'm telling you, you underestimate sleep. I sleep, guys. I sleep. My husband will tell you, he's like, yo, baby, you sleep. I'm so envious. When I hit the pillow, I sleep. The only time I don't sleep, and this is a problem because I'm such an open book when it comes to that, the only time I'm not sleeping is when I'm troubled by something. But 99% of the time, I'm sleeping. So yeah, I'll be making money with it. So, so I'm not going to talk about products because that's a lie. Sorry, not a lie, but it's not really the product. Some people swear by a product. It doesn't matter what product I'm using on my skin will still be exactly the same. So, but there are some things I have now noticed because Galoku, mid-age. Serum. So I use a day and night serum. And I will have you know, I am the worst person when it comes to routine because I don't like things that are repetitive in nature and they just bore me. So I am not the best at routine, so I'm not gonna lie to you about that. But here's the things that I have to use is obviously you have to cleanse your face. You have to then sorry, let me think the steps. You cleanse, yeah, I cleanse, and then I have to like do this exfoliation thing that I do. But I used to use a lot of exfoliators and I'd have breakouts because they're too rough for me. But then this one is like, it doesn't have granules. It's like it's part of a serum program. So then I put that, but I don't do it all the time. So again, I don't want to lie to you and say, Mina, I wake up and my face, Mina, guys, I don't have any routines. I don't. I don't wake up at 5 to meditate or exercise. I don't. I don't. I don't sit somewhere in some sunny corner at 4 o'clock in the afternoon and read a book. No, I don't. Yeah, so I'm the wrong person to ask because it's not going to be an answer that you desire, but it's the truth. So I do then like to obviously wash my face. That's why I don't like wearing makeup, because wearing makeup means then I must wash my face multiple times a day. That's just too much. But so either I apply the serum thing in the morning or afternoon. But I can tell you one of the things that are most important for your skin is sunscreen. So forget everything else, guys. Even if you apply your Vaseline, it's fine, or Zambag or whatever, Cuticura, Cuticura, Caticura, whatever you apply on your face, just make sure that you do apply sunscreen. And the whole point is that you have to feel, your skin, if your skin is dry or not, and use a good moisturizer. They don't have to be expensive. They don't have to be big brands. Use a good moisturizer though, and as organic as possible. So honestly, and I can tell you though, if Bio Oil came to me and said, Amanda, we're gonna pay you R1,000,000, be our brand ambassador, and I'll be like, yeah. And then I'm gonna lie to you people and tell you, Uguti, my legs, I use Bio Oil. That's why they are so beautiful. That time, from using Vaseline back in the day to whatever, I don't even have a set thing that I apply on my body. I take what I remember to take. And the more unflavored, unscented those things are, the better for me, because I have breakout of eczema every now and then on my feet, especially when seasons change. But I'm telling you, Mina, I will lie to you and say, yo, Bio Oil is what made my legs like this. So that you all run and buy it. I don't use it. But yeah, jokes aside, that's the best answer I can give you. I don't even know what time it is. This question from Aya says, hello, have you ever doubted your capabilities and how did you overcome that? No. Maybe when I was younger, yeah, maybe when I was younger, it's not doubting my capabilities though, because hey guys, I've worked so hard to have the confidence that I have. So it's not that I've doubted my capabilities, but you find yourself in uncharted territory, in spaces and places where it's not your sweet spot. So you just need to know what do you bring to the table, because not every table requires you to be like the other people, and in fact, life generally, you don't have to be like the other people. But what do you bring to the table is the confidence you need to grow in. If it's job specific, you have to learn, Galuku. Go on a training course, understand what you need to understand. One of the reasons why I get on boards right now is because, I'm seen as that tech expert not tech expert, because honestly, I'm a redundant CIO. I haven't been a CIO in 9 years. So But my business also still operates in that, and I invest in companies that are in technology. So I get on boards because I have a technology background and technology experience. However, I may not have known when I started on boards things about King 4. At the time, it was King 3 and then King 4, governance and standards. So I belong to the IODSA, which is the Institute of Directors of South Africa. I belong, I learn and study King 4. So there's there are always going to be places and spaces that are new to you. So anything that's new to you requires you to put in extra effort and learn something about it. But that's how you then become the expert in that. So I think capabilities are they don't just come, you build them. So whilst I can tell you that there's no place I've ever been in where I felt I was not equipped to rise up to the occasion, I can tell you that every moment where I'm in a new place and something I'm not aware of or an industry I'm not sure of, I go and read up about it. So there will never be a substitute for putting in the hard work to read up and understand what you're doing and to sit for those training courses. So I may joke about and say, I'm not an academic and I don't have multiple degrees, but what I do is spend a lot of time learning what I need to learn. And I go on training courses. I mean, recently I attended a program at Deloitte where they were launching the Cyber 360 cyber security program. So I went and I sat there for a whole day and got trained on some of the cyber security trends and threats and things, because that's something I need to know for my work and my board work and my business as well. So I can go do a training course for 3 months. I can do those things, but you have to understand what is it that you're trying to build. And remember, all experts started where they did not have that capability. So don't feel insecure that there's something wrong with you if you don't know something. Just learn what you need to learn. Okay, I'm gonna stop now. It's getting dark. But let me answer a few questions. Okay, this question, Lebogang says, how do I create boundaries for people coming to live with me? My sister and her kids are coming to live with me. My sister and her kids are coming to live with me, and I have and tried to provide for them from a distance, but it has come to this. How do I tell them how to conduct themselves in my house without sounding like a biatch? So, it's your house. Firstly, it's your house. So please, you pay the bond and you pay the lights, you pay everything. It's your house. Underline your house. So treat it as such. It's your house. They are a guest in your home. And please let them know how you live in the home. And I think the quicker you do it up front before they even come, set the boundaries so that by the time they're in it, there's no big surprises. And if they do break those boundaries, you already have a way to fall back on and say, guys, we spoke about this. So it's your house, Lovey. So, I mean, I don't even understand why you would be ashamed or shameful or scared to say something. If someone cannot respect you in your own home when you are trying to help them, then there's a real problem in that relationship, and it means the boundaries need to be redeveloped. So I think you have the perfect opportunity before they arrive to talk to her and say, these are the things that need to happen in this house. This is how we leave the house. Because there might be a hierarchy somewhere else, not in your house. It's your house. I remember my mom used to come to my house back in the day, and I think that's when I was still trying to be a good daughter. And then, when you get to your 40s, you just give up on that thing, just so you know. It's just like, So I think I was 33 years old When I said to myself, I'm mad, why do I keep hiding my wine when my mom comes to my house? I'm like, this is rubbish. It's my house. I drink wine. If she doesn't like it, she can go. so, so yeah, I mean, it's a. I don't want to make this sound complicated because it really isn't. It's your house, and they are guests in your home. So you need to be telling them upfront, I'm happy to help you. Or even if, okay, if you're not happy to help them, you don't have to say you are happy. Just tell them, now that we are here, here are some of the things that matter to me because it's your house. It really is your house, it's your house. When else are you supposed to be yourself and exert your own rules and values in your own home? Because if you don't, let me tell you this, if you don't, you're gonna have serious problems, and they will lose out on your help. So I think upfront, just do it. His question says, how do you choose the people to follow on social media? You have to say something that I'm interested in. So if you notice, I don't follow a lot of people. I used to follow like 2,000 people, I think. And then there was a time when I was leaving Instagram, so I unfollowed almost everyone. But then there are brands I follow. I follow Verve because I have a relationship with Verve. I follow KitchenAid. So there are companies that I follow for a specific reason. And then there are people that I follow in my life for, like I follow Mpumi because her work is online. But I don't just follow anyone, to be honest, because you have to be saying and doing something that I'm understanding, that is adding to me, because I don't have an interest in just watching people's lives. I just want to be understanding what it is that I'm getting. So I'm following some people right now that I think I'm going to unfollow because I'm not getting value. And frankly, all my friends, most of my friends I've unfollowed. The ones, the ones I'm still following is because maybe their work is online or there's a specific reason I'm following them. Because I have this rule in my life. If you have my phone number, we should not connect on social media. If we are friends, let's connect outside and see how friendly we really are with each other. Because you know how here people might not be friends with you or that close to you, but you might actually think we are very close, because on Instagram you can fake anything. All I have to do is just comment on your post with some hearts and say things that, might lead people to think that you and I are close, but, and some people I've followed and connected with because we do charity work together, and then down the road we don't anymore, so I have to unfollow. So there has to be a reason, and for me, because I'm so hard and picky and very specific, I really have to understand why I have to follow you. And also, though, I've also noticed there are people that I follow and I engage, or comment or like, and then I realize, it's not really like there's nothing mutual. We just, maybe it's a follow of convenience, and that I have to unfollow. So, but also what I've realized, there's a lot of people I don't follow, but I engage a lot with, and that's the beauty of Instagram, is that I can engage with you without following you. And there are people that I've actually realized I wasn't following, and I'm like, oh, I didn't even realize I'm not following. And then there are people who take it supremely personal that I don't follow them. I'm just like, guys, I'm old for these games. So I hope that helps. But that's how I do it, so I don't know how it's going to help you, but I hope it does. Mpimetsi says, What's the most difficult part about being a black woman in business and in your industry? I think I need to write a book about this one. Yay, go rough. Go rough. But because I'm still in business and I'm begging people, I have to mark my words and watch what I say. But I don't ever dwell on things like I'm a black woman, therefore. So there's I don't proceed from every day from that point of departure. And I think if you do, you are in for a rough ride because yeah, you become it. I think you get to notice it because the systems say um, the system. In fact, I think it's the most heartbreaking thing to be a black woman in business in South Africa. And not just in my industry, but because there's this big misconception that black women are getting all the opportunities, but it's actually the complete opposite because as a result of the system being so hostile towards black women getting all the business, you end up not getting all the business. Also, I don't necessarily believe that because you're a black woman, therefore you're entitled to it. But you also become part of wars and battles that you didn't even realize you were part of because somebody has a problem with signing a 10 million rand contract for a black woman, even though you've earned it. So, but it's also not just the trouble that comes from those who don't want to support you, but it's the trouble that comes from people you know who feel that even though they're in a position of supporting you, they cannot support you because maybe you're friends and therefore there's a problem. So it comes from all angles. It's a badgering of issues. And I just ride on people supporting my business because they believe in what you do, in what we do, not because I'm a black woman. People don't support me because I'm a black woman. In fact, it's a serious hindrance in my business, in business for me. And the people that support me, I can tell you, my clients don't say, Amanda, you're a black woman, therefore we're going to support you. They support me because they believe they have to support my business. We're doing amazing work. We're hiring good people. We're delivering good service. We own up where we made mistakes. And we've been around, so we've been tried and tested and proven. But it gets even more heartbreaking when there's a friend that is in a position to offer you an opportunity to pitch for work, but they're uncomfortable because you're friends. Now, that's a factor of the system because for black people, when you support your own kind, it's nepotism, it's corruption, it's this, it's that. But that's how other kinds do it. They support one another, they bribe with one another. So for us, it's only an issue because it's black people doing it. And I've had those instances where I've literally practically cried because I felt that I was being disadvantaged only because I know a black woman who is in a position to help me. Therefore, and I'm like, but if you don't help me, if you don't, and it's not about you are just giving me something, it's an opportunity to come and pitch for a piece of work. Baby, can you switch on the other one? It's an opportunity. Thanks, my love. It's an opportunity to give me a chance to pitch, but because we know each other already, I must get disqualified. I'm like, but that only applies to us black people, and especially black women. It's not a problem for other people because then you're accused of. So on the one hand, you understand the strife that people must be under. But also I'm like, but guys, if you, the people that know me, you know my value system, you know how I do my things. If you are the person that is not going to support me, where else am I supposed to get support from? So that is why it's so heartbreaking. It's incredibly heartbreaking sometimes, because you are part of wars. They don't mean to be nasty or say we're not going to support you. They're just so scared because of how the system is designed. The system is not designed to encourage support for some of us. And you think that's bad enough. It's worse being a black woman in business, turning over 50 million rands, because then you become a generic. So if anyone knows anything about black economic empowerment in South Africa, there's categories. If you're turning over from 0 to 10 million rands, you're what is called EME, an EME, so emerging enterprise. And then from 10 million to 50 million, you're what is called a qualifying small enterprise, so you're QSE. And from 50 million and above, you're what is called a generic. Now, the problem with black economic empowerment, whilst it was, in fact, I was asked to write an article about this on a big newspaper, and I backed up because I felt it would be a bit of a career limiting move. But well, here I am. I don't care anymore. Of course I care, guys. Those are things that are heartbreaking. But once you reach these categories, so the way the scorecard for black economic empowerment, and what is black economic empowerment for those of my friends who are not from South Africa and don't understand, it is an attempt, it's a policy, it's a regulation, an attempt to redress the injustices of apartheid in the past, where black-owned businesses were excluded from economic activity and support. Therefore, organizations are they are encouraged and penalized if they do not support black-owned businesses. Therefore, when you're getting your scorecard done or you're getting verified as a BE, an empowered organization, and what does that allow you? That allows you opportunity to deal with business, to do business with government, to do business with bigger organizations. So it's an ecosystem of ensuring that the injustices of the past are redressed by opening supply chains and supporting black-owned businesses. The problem, though, is that the way that the BEE scoring works is that they get organizations, and by the way, when I say organizations, including mine, I am a 100% black woman-owned organization that has BEE challenges. So I have to comply like everybody else. Doesn't matter what they earn, what their revenue is, and what their ownership structure is. Why it's a problem is because the way that the points are allocated or rewarded to make sure that, and there's levels, so it's a level 1, level 2. Level 1 is the best, level 2 is the next best thing, the level 3, you name it. And you get the most points, bonus points, when you are, by the way, it's just a perception, and I stand to be corrected, but you get 135% of your spend back when you're spending with level 1 organizations. But when you are a level 2, they get, I think, 125%. But here's what happens. There's more bonus points when you're spending at the 0 to 10 million category, as well as the 10 to 50 million category. In fact, there's far more value in points, in BE points, when you're spending at the 10 to 50 million category. The problem with it, and I've said it publicly in a public forum with some of these people who are in the BE Council, I said, in South Africa, as a black woman, I feel penalized for building a business. Because once you get to 50 million, 10 over 50 million, they don't care. Nobody cares for you anymore. It's like, you've made money, we're done. But that's 50 million, 10 over, guys. Whatever it is that you're turning over 50 million, it's 10 over. It's not profit. So in South Africa, you are essentially being penalized for building a successful business as a black person. Because once you get there, and that's not the intent, of course I get that, but how it is applied, and you can see it in how you progress as a QSE. So between 10 and 50 million, you have very rapid growth. And then from over 50 million, you have no growth. You are hustling hard, you are begging left, right, center, corner, you're begging for everything. So therefore, there are systemic issues that, whilst they were trying to redress the injustices of the past, they have in turn created more problems for some of Black-owned businesses. So this is why some of these things are incredibly heartbreaking. And I'm a generic business that turns over 50 million, my project management business. Guys, please, can I say again, I'm not in any other scamming business, investments, whatever. No. I run a project management business, and we're a consulting business. And once you get over, so before you turn over 50 million, everyone is begging you to be part of their supplier development programs and enterprise development programs. You get a generic, they literally kick you out the door. It's like, well, probably that's dramatic, but your business goes like this. And I'm pretty sure if we had to sample, just sample 100 businesses, Black-owned businesses, and see their trajectory, there's a very high, steep incline of growth, and then there's a sharp decline. And that is because of how BEE scoring works, and the fact that many of these businesses do it just to tick the box. It's not really real empowerment. It's not real development. So, which unfortunately, the other side, the downside of this short-sightedness is the fact that some of us, on the other hand, employ people. We employ graduates. We employ everyone. We support NPOs. We do skills development. We train people. We even train people who are not employed by us. We are such a critical part of the ecosystem that if businesses like ours don't work out in the long run, it's not me as Amanda that suffers, because Amanda has other options. Amanda has other jobs. It's the people that are employed in my business. It's the families we support. It's the NPOs we support, and the communities that they support. It's the training we offer those people who are unemployed. It's my graduates. It's the interns. So anyone who's in a position to do something about this, please stop looking at it as you are signing a 50 million rand check for Amanda Tambuza. It's not like that. It's really not like that. That couldn't be further from the truth. So these are just some of the challenges of being in business. And by the way, when they say, the perception that Black women in South Africa are raking in all the business, that's because the BEE scorecard allows for higher points or bonus points when you are doing business with majority Black-owned businesses, Black woman-owned businesses, I mean. So you get far better points and bonus points on your scorecard in order to improve your own BEE level. But the truth is that that does not translate in real life. So there are businesses. So here's the part that is most heartbreaking, is that there are businesses in South Africa who are not level 1, who are not level 2, who are not level 3, who are level 4, 7, you name them, 100% white-owned. They are thriving. They are reporting 46% growth year on year. Some of them, I sit on their boards. That time you are 100% Black woman-owned business. You are reporting decline in your growth. So I think I've answered. So please stay in your corporate jobs and sign deals for us. How did I overcome childhood trauma? Read Baked in Pain. How much you asking? How do you start a business? You're tired of working. I just told you what the challenges are in business. But anyway, you can learn to start a business. Just type Google, do a Google search. What you need to learn are all the things that people don't tell you, and I can't tell it to you. I just told it, by the way. So anyway, yeah, it is an emotional subject when it comes to business in South Africa, and BEE in particular, because the original aim was to help redress the injustices of the past. But to be honest. And having said that, on the one end, I know for a fact that probably some of the businesses in our country, possibly even my own business, in as much as I have a big corporate profile and I have, respect in business, I don't think that a lot of our businesses would have been making it or successful if it wasn't for BEE. But it has such big drawbacks as well, because how can I be a 100% black woman-owned business and have BEE problems? So the other part of this conversation is that my business turns over 50 million. I'm measured exactly the same as a business that turns over 23 billion and is listed on the stock exchange. How does that make sense? How does that make sense at all? And there's nobody out there who can help you, who can say, yes, and let's look at this thing. It doesn't make sense. It wasn't the intention. You have to wait another 14 or 20 years before something gets changed. So, guys, if you're not an entrepreneur, do not try to be one. And no one can tell you you are one or not, only you know. And it is incredibly difficult to make a business successful, especially if you don't even have a name for yourself. So what that means, and I'm not in any way saying that in a negative way, what I'm saying is that I sometimes ride on my relationships that are built over the years when I was a corporate executive. So I imagine someone who does not have that but has a great idea. Yeah, there are ideas that you can come up with and you don't have networks and somehow someone takes to it, a venture capitalist invests or angel investor. But the truth is that you only know deep down in your heart if you're made for business or not. No one can tell you that. And it's not a I'll tell you how I did it, how I knew, because it's not going to apply to you. And by the way, as much as I've always known I'm an entrepreneur, I've always had businesses since I was 23 years old. But my first attempt at full-time business was a huge L, as the kids say. It was a big loss. So then I went back and I worked and licked my wounds and rebuilt again. This stuff is in my book, guys, so read it. And the point is that don't just jump into entrepreneurship because you are fooled by these people who portray this big sense of cuteness, success, and designer bags. There's far more hardship beyond it. And I guess also, listen, it depends on what kind of business you're building, because some of us have built professional businesses that are competing with big business. So you are constantly in a fight. And some people just, they sell something and business is not that hard for them and they can portray, the ease with which some are in hardship, but they portray the ease with which they do business. I'm never going to lie to you. It's tough. Even after, I remember getting incredibly emotional with this one woman who's a friend of mine, very close, who told me that, in fact, she's not close, she's like family, and told me us knowing each other was a problem for this, potential opportunity. And I cried about that. And, I said to her that it's incredibly heartbreaking that 10 years after I've earned my right in this business, in business, my business is 10 years old. You're not doing me a favor. It's not like you're saying, listen here, let me give you a little boost to start your business. My clients are blue chip organizations, listed big organizations. Those are my clients. Yet I still have to be begging and explaining myself to somebody who knows me. And I'm like, that's not right. That's just not right. So the fact that you know people is not going to put food on your table. It's the biggest disappointment in business. But again, I'm that person. I feel like no one owes me anything. So I don't believe I deserve anything. So I have to work for it. I have to work hard for it. But it doesn't mean it's not hard. It doesn't mean it's not heartbreaking. It simply means I know I'm an entrepreneur. I have the stomach for it. I will keep going. Some days I will cry in a corner and not want to come out of my house. Some days I'm full on going in. And the answer sometimes is no. Most of the time is no. But you live for the moments that you win the one thing and that's able to change your life and change those in your ecosystem. And I think you need to be very clear about why are you in business. Because if you're thinking you're just going to go into business to make money, again, guys, I'm saying all these things. I don't do tenders. I've never won a tender out there in the public sector. I'm not a tenderpreneur. I'm a private sector entrepreneur. I fight hard against the best of the best. And so maybe other people are having it easy in business. But for me, I've had support, so I will never deny that. I've had support, but it's an uphill battle. So you gotta have the stomach for it, and you gotta have the networks to sometimes call upon someone and say, please help me with this. And they're not always gonna help you. Most of the people I call don't help with anything. So that's why when someone says, oh my gosh, you're Amanda Dambuza, oh, I'm such a fan of your work, let's talk business, I'm like, it's not gonna happen. So I've also come to know who can help me, who's interested in supporting me, who's not interested. I've also learned that being Amanda Dambuza is not always a ticket to success or ticket to the game. It's the fact that sometimes it's a hindrance. Therefore, I need more people in the front line of my business and take myself out of it, because some people have a problem with the fact that you are Amanda Dambuza. So, and Amanda has money. Why do we have to keep supporting Amanda? But people don't understand that it's not like that. I am building this business. It's an ecosystem. If there's, you hear organizations talk about shared growth. I don't talk about it. I do it every day of my life. It's what I do. I'm in business so that I can create opportunities in my ecosystem. So anyway, I can talk for hours about that. Guys, I don't even know how long I've been on. I'm sure I have to stop now because it's getting dark. So let me quickly answer this. The Palette Mom says, what's your take on language barrier? That is, having a manager, bosses who use swear words in the office. Okay, but is that a language barrier? First of all, I don't think anyone should use swear words in the office. I just think it's rude. It's not, you should just not use foul language with people, unless it's people who also use foul language and it's a culture of foul language, which, by the way, I don't think is cool. So, no. But I don't know if that's a language barrier or that's just a values thing. So, yeah. And you should just tell them it makes you uncomfortable. You have a right. Guys, your managers don't only have rights. Let me just clear this quickly. Your managers are there to look after your interests, not to abuse you. That's what managers are there for. In fact, managers are there to manage the tasks so that people deliver what they need to deliver. They are servants of the people. Leaders, managers are servants of the people. So, yes, I know not everyone treats it as though they are servants of the people. But your leaders and your managers are people you should be able to call upon on their behaviors. But that's a culture thing. That's a values thing in the organization. And values are nothing if not driven by the same people who are in the organization. Because someone has a title of manager or is more senior than you, does not make them better than you. Does not mean they must abuse you. In fact, they have even a much more of a responsibility to make sure that they care for you and they nurture the environment within which you work. And if that environment is not conducive to you, you have every right to say, I am uncomfortable with this. I do not feel good when you do this. Because it is your prerogative to look after your own career and your own peace. And nobody owes it to you. So some of them understand that they owe it to you. Some of them don't understand. They don't even know that they owe it to you because they're such bad leaders. So you must speak up. You have a right to speak up. Managers are not created more equal than their staff or their employees that they look after. They are playing a role, and it's unfortunate that HR it often plays the negative role in this, in where they're supposed to look after and help employees who are abused by their managers and their leaders. They unfortunately are not so strong that they can stand up to those leaders likewise, right? So it's your right and your prerogative to say when you are uncomfortable. Nobody has the right to abuse you. So anyway, um, I I would like to just stop now. So there are some questions still. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to get to them. I'm sorry. But I can assure you there's nothing new I'm going to say that I haven't said before. So try and catch Vastly Sage on YouTube and see if there's an answer for you there. There's a talk show, there's the mentorship. There's also our third season that we're working on. So hopefully that comes through. So thank you so much for your time. It was good. I enjoyed it. And I hope that I did help somehow. Please pop your comments, or I'm going to post this now. So pop your comments in there and I can engage with them. Because when I'm speaking, I don't see them. So it's not because I'm ignoring you. Some of them I see because they're so glaring. But it's not that I've ignored you, and that I'm just doing all the talking. I really want to respond. So the YouTube handle is Vastly Sage. So Amanda Dambuza, Vastly Sage. Thank you so much. Take care, everybody. And whatever you do, remember, we all of us, there aren't some and not, it's not some and others, or some only leave a legacy behind. We all do. Every single one of us has a legacy we're leaving behind, and it's our choice what that legacy will be. And everything starts now. It absolutely starts now. We don't have to wait till tomorrow, because what if that doesn't come? Hey, what if it doesn't come? Anyway, bye. Wish I forgot, how do you end the thing? Wait. Okay. Thank you guys. Bye.